Good day, YouTubers, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all around the world. Merry Christmas. The week and months ahead lead to much jolly. So, what have we got done since last week? We looked forward in the plans last week, and the rudder was the next major project on our list of things to complete. We had these two pieces already cut and shaped to put on, and we put them on yesterday, and these are just grabbing them and holding them in place until the E6000 dried. And we went ahead and got the rudder out and painted it up to match the plans there to mount on the back end. And we got to mount these hinges on there. I already pre-fit it. So that is my next project, is to get these hinges mounted onto the rudder and then mark the keel line for the other set of hinges to mount after we get them mounted on the rudder. We got 10 hinges all together in pairs, and a little pin that we got to use for a hinge. And I think they're using nails here and cutting them off. Yeah, I think we use those nails right there and cut them off so they're only 3 millimeters long, and then nail them in through these holes. So that is the next project. You can see the hinge, once in place, is a little long too. So we got to figure out, yeah, it looks like they're having us cut them off. So there's only 2 holes instead of 3 on there. So we'll have to check that real careful. I got this painted up to match the hole there, but I didn't realize I needed to paint the top part black too. So that's something else I gotta do, but that top part isn't where we're working. We're working on these hinges, so we'll get them going. Say Merry Christmas, Mufasa. Let's see if we can film this process here. So what I've done is taken the cutters and sort of pinched just below where that shaft is at, the hinge pin, without cutting it, obviously. Trying to crush it tighter around that pin, because there's a little angle there. So now I've got that squeezed around the pin. I'm going to take my pliers, grab that spot where it's squeezed at, and that grabs the flange and the pin. And now I got to spread this back out while I'm holding it. Try to get it spread out here where I can get my other pliers in there. Like that. So now I've got enough space there. I'm grabbing it below where I think that turn point is. Where it's going to go from the pin to the side of the rudder. Pull up on it and bend it closed, guesstimating the thickness of the rudder. So it's a little bit too wide. And that's just a matter of pulling that bend down a little bit. There, that's close. So now we lay it on this block of steel. And we want to cut off that part sticking out there. We don't need to cut too much off, just past where that last hole is. These KitchenAid shears work really good for lots of tough stuff. Okay. Get that sort of centered where I want it. I'm looking for a nail. I had some nails ready here and they're disappeared already. What happened to them? Well, I'll get a couple more nails out. I'm cutting them where it's not going to go through the other side of the rudder and stick out. Grab them. Grab it. Get this back centered where I want it. That's a little crooked. Now I get this to go back straight, and I'm going to go to the other side and put one on the opposite hole. And now I just cut 2 more nails and throw them in there. So the main trick of this later on is going to be making sure that all these pins line up with the other pieces that we're going to mount on the keel of the ship. And the other pieces, I'm not going to squeeze them around the neck of the pin like I did on this side. We're just going to let it slip over like that. Now, one thing I'm noticing here after doing that is I'm probably, well, according to the drawing, the pin part is sticking out. So I'm not going to try to recess these both in the same slot, which is what I did on that San Juan ship. I recessed both of the things in the same slot on the rudder, and that was a real pain in the butt. You can see there's no space at all between the rudder and the keel. But the plans don't call for me being that tight, so I'm not going to force it. We'll just let this baby slip on there with the rudder being on top, so it sets on there like that with enough room to get this piece in there. So that's the trick. A couple more nails and then 3 more times. Okay, we're slowly plugging away here, getting these hinges on. This last one got a bunch of little bends in it. And a little different than the other ones. It's harder to figure out where exactly. And okay, that one in there. We'll get one on this side. Anyway, I wanted to thank everybody today for all the views and subscribers we've been getting. Last night I looked at the YouTube studio. Uh-oh. That one bent a little bit. The YouTube studio said that I have reached 2,000 subscribers. So it's a big encouragement to me that you guys are watching, and we got that many subscribers doing this wooden model ship. This is a nail set. It's got a little bit of a cup on the end of it so it doesn't slip off the head of the nail. You can see we had to do a little bending on that to get that corner to fit right. I'm going to put one more nail in before I test fit the rudder again. left-handed. So obviously we got all the hinge mounts on the rudder, and I stuck a long pin through there just to help keep them lined up with each other as I was installing those brackets. So as you can see, it's not going to go on with that long pin in there without taking it out. And that's what I'm thinking I want to do, is pull it out and then slide it in with this in place all the way through to the top, and then bend it over on the top or something. But before I do that, I wanted to make sure that it's going to fit here. That one's a little off. So I need to try to bend that one down some. The other ones look okay. So the second one up is a little too high. Yeah, that'll work. So, can we get this out? Yeah. It's not exactly straight. I should have roll pinged it on the table real hard with the mallet to make it really straight, but I don't think that matters too much. Let's just see if we can get it on there. I don't know if it's lined up with that second one or not. Yep, there it goes. Okay, there's the third one. Let me get this over here and check what you guys are seeing. There's the third one. There's the fourth one. Boy, this is going so much easier than that last ship I built. I did it the hard way, and I surely regret that. Wow, check it out. That will work. Oh, that bind is down here on the bottom. I got to close that up a little bit after I get those the last nails in. I still got like one nail on each one of these bottom three to put in. So I just want to bend over the top of this pin so it can't fall out. As tough as it was getting in there, I don't think it's gonna fall out, but get a hold of it. A little whammy bend like that, and then cut that off. So it's just a tiny little bend on the top. And then pull that back down. There we go. Okay. Wow. We got her on there. Cut that off. Yeah. The rudder is installed. I probably need to put a little bend on the bottom too, don't I? Keep that from going up. It can't go up, it can't come down. Okay. Now these other ones that I didn't put in yet, the pins, I got to cut them short like we did on this side. And nail them in there. But it's not bad at all. Yep. Ah. Okay, now we got the rudder done. We do have to paint the hinges black, but I'll wait till I'm doing some other painting before I do that. The next step, section 30, type A cannons. So there's 3 types of cannons, and I think they're just different sizes or something. But this is the type A, and there's type B and type C. Yeah, the other ones look a little smaller or something different, longer or whatever. So we got all the pieces for the type A cannons cut out, and that's 12 of them. And then we got one mocked up to put together. It's not glued or anything. I'm just trying to figure out what goes where and understand everything before I start gluing. So these are going to go on the side, and they're little pieces of stainless steel, tin or something, that's been etched, and it's got a decoration on it, and it'll fit on there behind the wheels. The wheels are just sitting on these shafts right now. There'll be one on each side. So we got to cut the rest of them out, clean them up with the nippers. And the lower part where the butt of the cannon is will have this little piece on there, glues on there, and that's the handle for aiming, or the wedge that sets under the butt of the cannon to aim it up and down. And then they turn the whole thing for right and left. But that's a wedge to set underneath the butt of the cannon itself, that they can move up and down, or in and out, to make the cannon aim up and down. So we got a bunch of them over here. We got 48 wheels, 12 times 4. We got 12 base sections, 24 side sections, and then 24 of these pieces of stainless or tin or whatever they're made out of. I don't know. Could be stainless. Seems like if they're etching it and it doesn't want to tarnish, it would be stainless. And then 4 times 12 is 48 cannon wheels. And then some of this doweling that came in the kit that fits on there. So the only trick I've noticed in the plans, they're telling us to take a file and file a little groove where the axle lays underneath there. And I tried to put one together without filing that groove in there, and it wouldn't let me because the height of the axle is stopping it from going together where these keyways are. So I used the little barrel shaped, sort of a drum shaped bit to go on the end of the Dremel that's about 4 millimeters in diameter and 10 millimeters long, and I just laid that on there while it was running and cut into it with a little bit of a cup shape cut out of the spot where that axle's got to go. So when you put these sides on, there's room for that axle to slide underneath there. It's hard to see in this one that's put together, but it will not go together without doing that. So we did that on this one, and then I mocked it up for the next one just to show a little bit of a, probably a 1.5 millimeter or 2 millimeter relief of an arc shape sanded. They're showing doing it with a round file and sanding it or filing it by hand, but this old boy is a little smarter than the average bear, so he used a Dremel and cut it down with that. So we can do that fairly quick. We just got to take the time to mark where that shaft sets as opposed to the keyway when it goes together. Because when that keyway is lined up, it has to line up with the shafts where that mark is at. The wide part or the rounded end part goes on the back of the cannon where the butt of the cannon is, so make sure you keep that in mind. So with all these pieces, we got a lot of work to do just to put 12 cannons together, and that doesn't count the painting and maybe other things that we got to do. Let me look here. Get you guys where you can see this. Turn that camera light off. So this is where it wants us to paint the hinges black. We got that baby mounted though, so we'll worry about that later. So here's the cannon type A. And not a whole lot of directions other than those little codes. And looks like they're painting the axle before it's assembled. I don't know if I'm going to go through all that mess. And yeah, they actually painted that metal and just left the relief part. See, I don't know if I'm going to do all that either. Good grief. There's a little star on there or something, and then that ribbon. So I might leave them shiny, because that means it would be painted. Yeah, 8 and 6 and 1 and then 8. It's 2 different colors of paint, which is black and red, or sort of a pink looking red. Yeah, we'll think about it. And then our cutter dials 12 and 13 millimeters, because the back is wider than the front, just by a millimeter or 2. And then set the cannons in there. Oh, we got to paint them too. So, and they're painting the end of the axle black, and the frame red. Good grief. Cannon black, and that relief on there black. And there's some little teeny pieces of brass to strap down the cannon. I'm not going to go there yet. We just got to get these things built first. That might take a couple weeks. I don't know. It's getting close to Christmas now. Got 2 eggs this morning from the chickens. Went to put the new skin on the greenhouse and I had it roped up on the wrong side, so I got to pack up and punt on that and do it again. Neighbor's having a party back there. Yeah, these guys are always out. Quack, quack. I just gave him some treats. And this other guy, or guy, I say guy, it's not a guy. This is, hello. How come you're always on the nest and you're not laying any eggs? You like that ring? Let's see if there's anything under there. No. She's broody. So, we're having an open house Saturday after next. Tomorrow's Saturday, but Saturday after that we're having an open house. It's annual Christmas thing we do. And we got veggies growing in the beds already. Look at that. Tomatoes and okra. Yeah, stuff's growing. Winter crop. And parsley. So, let me approach this with caution. Thanks for watching.